Congresswoman Lesko, welcome to the Sean Hannity Show.
Well, thank you for having me. I hope you're having a great day.
I'm having a miserable day. You know that Joe Biden is right outside for a fundraiser, and all our streets are closed up. This is terrible. It's awful.
Oh, my God. Well, I tell you what, I am having a good day here in Arizona. Unfortunately, the border is wide open, and these Democrats, they just keep on prioritizing illegal immigrants over U.S. citizens, and it's downright infuriating.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you something. I was watching, Donald Trump is speaking the other night. I don't know why, but CNN started to carry it. And he started to talk about these illegals crossing the border. And he said, among them are criminals or maybe possible terrorists. Well, CNN cut out of the speech. And they said, we have to cut out because he's giving false information. All of that was debunked. Could you tell me, what day was that when it was debunked? I missed that. Did that ever happen?
I missed that, too, because as we know and we see in the news and on TV, there are indeed people that are here illegally that are murdering people, raping people. And that doesn't mean that every single illegal immigrant that is doing that, but when there's over 9 million people that have come illegally across the border since Biden's been in office, there are people in that group that are criminals. And they're murderers. One just happened. Another murder just happened in Michigan. And you know what the Michigan Democrat governor does?
No.
$500 a month to landlords for rent subsidies for illegal immigrants. I mean, this is pure insanity. It's absolutely infuriating.
No, it's just total chaos. And that border bill, you know, if you watch the fake news, they'll tell you, well, it was the toughest border bill ever and Republicans didn't pass it. There was nothing in there that would have helped. You saw the bill. Nothing.
Yeah, no. The House Republicans, we passed a bill out of the House last year, H.R. 2, it actually would have secured the border because it implemented the things that President Trump did in the last administration that actually cut down on illegal immigration, like remain in Mexico policy, increasing the asylum standards, building the wall, logical things that the Customs and Border Patrol officers have told us need to be done in order to secure the border, and that's what President Trump did. And they won't pass it. Schumer won't even hear the bill. Instead, they have this other bill that would effectively put into law. It would increase. Right now, our law says if one person comes across the border, you're supposed to detain them until their court hearing. Well, Biden's not doing that, obviously. But they want to put into law with that Senate bill that 4,999 illegals could cross a day, and that would be perfectly fine. I mean, that's ridiculous. There's no way that I was going to vote for that or Republicans in the House because it would have made it worse than a status quo.
They'll always point to, well, there was money for more border agents. Haven't they moved all the border agents off the border and into the processing centers to usher in the illegals? Isn't that what they're being used for now?
Well, that's what our governor, we have a Democrat governor here in Arizona, Katie Hobbs, and she asked the federal government for $752 million. You know what it's for? Is it for securing the border? Absolutely not. It's for helping illegal immigrants. More to give them housing, to give them transportation. And that's what boggles my mind. It's like, what is the deal with Biden and these Democrats? They want an open border. Then they want to give free money, which is costing us money, taxpayer dollars that we pay in to give to illegal immigrants. And we've seen in the past where they boot out veterans out of housing and put in illegal immigrants. I mean, there are people, U.S. citizens, that are struggling to pay rent. And here in Phoenix, we have a growing homeless population. But what do these Democrats do? They give money to illegal immigrants. It's just, it's just, as I said before, infuriating. I'm so frustrated. And so that's why we need to make sure we retain a Republican majority in the House so we can pass bills again like H.R. 2, but then get a Republican majority in the U.S. Senate that will actually hear the bill, and then get President Trump elected so we can actually secure the border for the American people.
Yeah, when they say there's terrorists among these illegals and there's criminals among these illegals, that's not just somebody claiming. You've actually heard that from intelligence agencies and officials?
Well, yeah, it's on record. There was 169 illegals that were on the terrorist watch list that they caught in the last fiscal year, and so far this year, since October of 2023, there's been 69 caught. Now, how many haven't they caught? I mean, that's the same thing with fentanyl. You see the pictures of all of the fentanyl that they're catching at the border in Nogales, Arizona, but then there's a whole bunch in between the ports of entry that they aren't catching as well. And so the fentanyl is just flooding across. People are flooding across. There's sex trafficking. We've seen reports even from the New York Times, which is a liberal media organization, that saying that they're using these kids as, child labor. They just cracked down on another one, I think, in Tennessee, where they have these illegal kids that are working, and they're also being sex trafficked. It's just a sad state of affairs when my Democratic colleagues say, oh, they're trying to be humane to the illegal immigrants. Well, you know what's not humane is having the cartels have these illegal immigrants pay them thousands of dollars, raping them, having them sent over here for sex trafficking. That's not humane.
And now, the real goal of these Democrats is, I assume, to get these millions and millions of illegals on the voter rolls, also to locate them in certain, states to increase the population, get more congressional seats. Isn't that really what they're up to?
Well, that's the only thing I can think of that would be logical reason for it. Like, why in the world would Biden and all these Democrats want open border policies so that terrorists are crossing the border? It's costing us tons of money to process these folks. And we don't even know who's coming across the border. So, as you have said, when the census is done every 10 years, they don't count U.S. citizens; they count residents, and that's what the number of congressional seats are based on, is the number of residents, the population. And so, if they attract them to all of these Democrat cities and Democrat states, they're going to naturally have more Democrat-elected congressional members. And I think that's the end goal, so that then they eventually change it so illegals can vote.
Wow. Well, you're doing great work. Congresswoman Debbie Lesko of Arizona. Keep it up, and make sure you follow her on Twitter and read her column, foxnews.com. It's an great piece that she's written. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.